Cacospectamania is defined as an obsession to stare at something which is repulsive or vulgar, a visual fascination with the grotesque. A car crash you can't look away from. Often I find mental illness feels this way. Tragic and painful, yet inescapable, something I can't look away from. My body of work aims to explore visually expressing emotional pain in a way that is vulnerable and raw, and that my audience can experience and even relate to as a means of catharsis for both myself and the viewer. This series is inspired by my personal struggles with mental illness and finding a way to accurately portray the emotions it can bring. Each piece is an image of myself, inspired by simple line drawings I made in high school as a means to cope. The expressions on my face, in combination with the technical aspects, are a literal way of conveying what it looked like when I went through these things. All I Feel is Sad and Mad, for example, was originally drawn during a major depressive episode during a difficult time in my life. Funeral Dress, originally drawn while I was struggling with anorexia and self-harm, is painted in a way that is meant to have a pose ambiguous between standing and lying down, as if in a casket. It Hurts depicts a sensation I have often because of my depression and anxiety, that some dark force is reaching for my heart, aching in my chest. My use of body horror focuses on expressing these emotional struggles. By creating an image that's hard to look at and even harder to look away from, I seek to create a visual analogy to the things I felt so that viewers can understand them. Body horror, a subgenre of horror that focuses on grotesque and psychologically intense imagery, has been a part of my work and creative process for even longer than the line drawings have. For me, it's a tool for expressing emotional pain visually. Just as I'm drawn to creating as an outlet, I'm drawn to conveying the often very physical feelings I have through the grotesque. Being able to convey these emotions visually was a process heavily informed by research. For this series, I am majorly inspired by the works of Junji Ito, who uses body horror to aid in forming narrative. His use of grotesque imagery elicits a response from the viewer that interests me in my work, a draw to keep looking, but also a desire to look away. Looking to works like Uzumaki and Tomie, one can see a sense of story expressed through graphic body horror. Frida Kahlo, as a woman artist who used art as an escape and means of expression, was also a source of inspiration for me. Her works like The Two Fridas and The Broken Column also include body horror as a means of expressing physical and emotional pain. This horror captures me in my own sense of cacospectamania. I'm drawn to the raw emotional presence that can be brought by graphic imagery and its use as a means of storytelling. For technical influences, I found the most inspiration from Wayne Theobald, whose white backgrounds both isolate and add focus to the figure, and Hildy Mays, whose layered collage work adds dimension to her paintings. With Theobald, I found that a white background creates an exterior contour that conveys a push-pull dynamic, forming a tension between object and picture plane that I wanted to create within my own work. By both isolating and bringing focus to the figure, a new emotional presence is brought to my work. I wanted to create a space that felt as empty as alone as I do, while also building a focus on the figure, uninterrupted by a blank white space. In Hildy Mays' work, she creates mystery that brings focus to the figure and also furthers a sense of space through layering. My use of collage also focuses on space and focus. By adding a three-dimensional aspect to my paintings, I bring them into the audience's space, drawing focus to the figure. In terms of relevance to current issues, my work focuses on emotions bred by mental illness, which is an extremely relevant topic for today. Nearly 1 in 5 American adults live with mental illness, with young adults aged 18 to 25 being the most affected. My generation struggles with the same issues I am, and finding a way to visualize them in a way that can be seen and related to is very important to me. I'm not the only artist facing these emotions, and I am certainly not the only adult. The relevance of my work lies within the relevance of the topic. My hope is that I can create a painted experience that helps others going through the same struggles feel seen. We are not alone in this pain, despite the way it feels.